Good evening, everyone. We continue our study in the book of Job, and we are now in chapter 7. Chapter 6 and 7 is Job's reply to the friends, particularly Eliphaz, who has accused Job of having committed some sin. That's why he is under such a condition, and this would be a divine punishment, and then God will take care of everything. And so all these words doesn't resonate with Job because now he has maintained that he has never done anything against God. Now, bear in mind that the background of Job is that he is a just, a blameless, God fearing, shunning all evil kind of man, rich and powerful. And his entire life has been to serve God, and he has been most probably a beacon of support to the community. And so everybody knows the character of Job. And now, when he encounters such devastating situation and under such tremendous pain, that he has these boils from the sole of his foot to the scalp of his head, and his wife tells him to curse God and die, he really feels that he shouldn't have been born for this day. And so Eliphaz concluded in chapters 4 and 5, and then 6 and 7 would be Job's reply. He ends chapter 6 by saying, tell me something. Don't give me rhetorics. If you said that I have sinned, show me. Show me the evidence. He is willing to be taught, but unless somebody is willing to empathize and sympathize and show something, well, rhetorical and academic talking is of no avail to somebody who is suffering. And so he is very much one who is responding in a way where he is suffering much anguish, and he has to say things and understand he is under tremendous stress. So don't read Job's words as a normal person. Read Job's words to feel the pain that's in him. Verse 1, it says here, is a person not forced to labor on earth? Uh, I guess you could actually talk about this in terms of kind of a service. So a person is to work on earth, it is to do labor, to serve, or of service. On earth would be in the land. And this begins a new segment. His days are, is it not like of a hired worker? I think we have two verses that we need to deal with. As a slave pants for the shade, as a hired worker who eagerly awaits his wages. All of these is talking about the fact that uh, everybody has an allotted time. And does work while he is alive. And in this allotted time, there is a period that you look forward to. And what do you look forward to? You actually look forward to the shade if you are working hard in the field. You're looking forward to wages, and it keeps going. And that is life as Job is describing. And then he talks about himself. But I am allotted worthless months. Now, the idea of worthless months, it's like the idea of empty. empty in the sense of nothingness. He is not productive. He's not even like a servant. He's not like a hired worker. He's not like a slave. Whatever he has in the months that he is suffering, it's of futility. I think we could use this, futile. My nights of trouble are a portion to me. The nights are, I guess you could say, laborious or toiling, or painful. So nights of pain are a portion to me. Understand that he is suffering. And he contrasts this to a servant. And he has a worse life than a servant. That is what he's trying to say. Why is his life like that? He has been good to God. He has been blameless. He has been upright. He has been God-fearing. He has shunned all evil. He has never failed God in his word. That's what we read in chapter 6. While Eliphaz is saying you must have done something wrong, Job maintains his innocence. And now he's saying his life is not worth anything, worse than a hired hand. In verse 4, he says this: when I lie down, I am looking forward to when I will wake up, because he hopes that all these things will go away. And that's when a person who is suffering is anticipating that all this will somehow come to an end. But the night continues on. And I am continually tossing until dawn. This is how he is in the time of his suffering. I would say that we cannot even begin to imagine what's going through his mind. And many people have gone through this. And Job, in this case, in chapter 7, describes his life as literally worthless. My flesh is clothed with maggots and a crust of dirt. My skin hardens. And this word harden in verse 5 literally means to, how should we say, to toss up, to wrinkle up. Not just harden, to wrinkle up. And this word oozes talks about being dissolving, melting. And then you can think of it as boils, right, with pus. And it leaks. He says, my days are swifter than a weaver's shuttle. If you know how people are weaving, the machine just keeps going back and forth, and the cloth is being produced. But then my days come to an end without any hope, because it's not productive. He is just lying around, not sure what he's waiting for. Verse 7. He says, remember that my life, and in this case, his current life in existence. And remember, he is speaking as a person who is in serious pain. He says it is like mere breath. Now, this word breath is ruach. It is translated as wind or spirit. Basically, he's saying, my life is just a gust of wind. My eye will not see goodness again. He is saying that he is not going to be restored to health. He is losing hope. The eye of him who sees me will no longer look at me. So anyone who is looking at him one day will not look at him because he is going to die. This is the end that he sees it. Your eyes will be on me, but I will not exist. I will not be here any longer. All of this is talking about his impending death. He wished he would die. That's it's such a sad situation. And in this case, we all need to remember that chapter 1 had test number 1, chapter 2 had test number 2, but that test number 2 is ongoing. But Hasatan is no longer here. Whatever is being narrated from chapter 3 onwards have nothing to do with Hasatan. He has put this in motion, and God is allowing this to continue so that we now have the conversations that takes place to look at how Job, a man who has everything, he is absolutely wealthy, had 10 children, all gone. He had good health, all gone. But what he has is his integrity. He is blameless. He is not sinned with his mouth. He is upright. He is God-fearing, and he shuns evil. And he continues in this arduous, painful journey that he wished that he is no longer around. And these are the words that such a person is speaking right now. It says, just as a cloud vanishes, it is gone. In the same way, one who goes down to Sheol does not come up. This is all talking about death. And in his mind, he knows when he goes down to Sheol, Sheol is the afterlife. Meaning, after this life is gone, he's going to go down somewhere and it's all going down. And occasionally, this is thought of as the grave because it's going down, but it's not true. Because in old days, the idea here is people are buried in tombs in the holes of the walls of the hills. So going down is a concept of where Sheol is. And once a person goes to Sheol, he will not return. This is important. He will not return. So he is saying that when a person is dying, it is a one-way ticket. This is the concept of death in the Eastern mind. And in this case, it would be a very Hebrew mind. So he will not return to his house again, nor will his place know about him anymore. It means that people will not see him again. And that is death. That is what he describes death. Verse 11. So he says, therefore, I will not hold my mouth. What does this mean? It means this. His life is even shorter than he knows because he can't stand to live like this. And as such, he is going to speak up. It sounds like anger, but it is more of a frustration of a man in anguish, suffering great pain. So he says, I will speak in anguish of my spirit. And again, this word here, uh, spirit, is ruach. I will complain in the bitterness of my soul. So understand that he is not just angry at God. He is saying, what's happening? He doesn't understand. He is frustrated. He didn't do anything wrong as far as he is concerned. But why is he suffering? And since he's suffering, why isn't his suffering ended or ended in death? So he is asking God now. He is opening up. He is lashing out. He says, "Am I the sea or the sea monster?" Meaning they are the ones who is having a in a particular confine. What does it mean? As the sea, there is a seashore. The sea cannot go beyond that. If there's a sea monster in the water, he cannot come up, come out. So it is like he is now being guarded in this sea that you guard over me, that I'm suffering in this environment, but I can't cross over the line to die. That's the picture that is being painted in verse 12. If I say my couch will comfort me, or my couch would be my bed will ease my complaint. Will that be the case? When I fall asleep, I won't complain anymore? No, when I am there to sleep, God, you frighten me with dreams and visions, that when he closes his eyes, right, closes eyes, he can still see terrifying things. So understand that he's under severe torment, right? Severe torment. Verse 15. So that my soul, my nephesh, should choose suffocation. Now, this idea of suffocation uh, would be a form of strangling. My soul chooses to be strangled, death rather than my pains. I think that word pain is a good way of expressing, uh, because the word here can be expressed as uh, bone, then bones. All right. And so you find that this is the way, but that death rather than the bone, the limbs suffering in pain. So what is he saying? He is still very consistent with what his earlier thoughts were. I would choose death, choose to die, rather than continue in this suffering that it's beyond imagination. Verse 16, it says, I, well, this word waste away is actually incorrect. It says, I despise, and this is about his life. I despise, and he despises his life. I will not live forever. I don't want to live forever. Now, this word forever here is olam. It means for a long time. Remember, Eliphaz was saying, well, you will live for a long time, a ripe old age. He's saying, I don't want. So it's not to say I don't want to live forever. I don't want to live for a long time. Not like this. I don't like this life. Right? I don't like this life. So he says, leave me alone, for my days uh, are only a breath. So this idea of a breath means it's a vapor. This word is uh, havel. Havel would be a vapor, would be useless. But more importantly, I think it is, you could think of it as empty rather than useless. Empty means not productive. In this case, that's what it means. That my days are only a vapor. It is short, but it's not short enough. I prefer to die now. Verse 17, now he speaks about God in his form. What is man that you, the word is not exalt, by the way. This word here is to pay attention. Pay attention uh, or give importance. This, why do you care about man? That you are concerned about him, that you should pay attention to him. Right? This is what it means. That you pay attention to him. He's saying, God, just leave me alone. That you test him, you should visit him every morning. This word is not examine, this word is visit him every morning. And you should test him every moment. And so he's seeing this. This is a test, but it is not what he wants. This is not the test that he is looking at. And these are words really of a man who is suffering tremendously. So we need to appreciate the words that he has spoken, and it is not intended to form any doctrines. It is giving us a narrative as how things are in his mind. In our last three verses, verse 19, it says, will you never turn your gaze away from me? This is not a correct translation, right? This translation should be, how long will you not desist from me? And then it says, will you not let me go? So, will you not let me go until I swallow my spittle? Now, let me explain to you what that means. It is to say, how long will you not desist from me? How long will you not turn away from me? Right? It's not turn your gaze. God, why don't you uh why don't you let me go? Why are you tormenting me, allowing this to happen? I think that would be a good way of expressing it. It's like, why are you not looking at me? Why are you trying me? So in the previous verses, like God is testing every morning. He says, why are you still doing this to me? That is the application to verse 19. He's putting it out there to God. Why like that? Why like that? I think we can appreciate what Job is feeling, saying all these things. Now, in the last two verses, I think we need to pay attention. Verse 20. Have I sinned? And this is a good way. Did I sin? Also would be a better way of saying it, right? Did I sin? Not that I have sinned. The question would be, what did I do? That's the question. Did I sin? What did I do? He's still maintaining his innocence. Tell me, did I unknowingly do something? Because he cannot tell what he had done. He is very sure he didn't do anything wrong. And so he's asking God, did I really sin? What did I do? So he told Eliphaz, show me. Watcher of mankind, why have you made me your target? Why have you set me as a mark to be punished? Why? What did I do so that I am a burden to myself? So that I have become such a pain. And he's looking at himself. Why am I doing it? Why am I alive? Why am I being punished? And then the final verse comes and he also looks at God. He says, then why then do you not forgive my transgression and remove my iniquity? So he says, if I really did sin, right? If I sinned, then why do you not forgive? Now, this is very key. Forgiveness is the key to a wrongdoing. Forgive my wrongdoing, take away my guilt, my iniquity. The word here is wrongdoing, pesha, and the second one is my avon, which is avon. These would be really intentional sins. So, did I do that? In this case, this is accidental, right? But did I do any of this pesha or avon? If I did, why don't you forgive me? Now, this is important. This word forgive is to lift up. This word is always used as to take away, right? Lift up, take away. So that if I had done this, forgive me, take it away, and don't count on me so that I do not have to suffer. But for now, I will lie down in the dust. And you will search for me, but soon I will no longer, this word here, exist, is be here. And he is saying, he wished that he is going to die. Why are you not doing anything to remove this? So understand that all these are words that's coming out of a man who is suffering tremendously, who really feels that he has not done anything like a pasha or an avon towards God. Even if he had done any khata, what did he do? Even if it was unintentional, what was it? There is nothing that he can think of that deserve such torment. And these are words from a person who is under tremendous stress, tremendous pain, yet he realizes that he is still blameless. Remember in chapter 1 and chapter 2, blameless, upright, God fearing, shun all evil. So, for a man who is like this, who is very careful with his life, and then suddenly to lose everything, including his health, and suffering like this that he can't tolerate anymore, what went wrong? That is the question at the end of chapter 7. He had preferred death over all these. If he had done wrong, why don't you forgive me? Because if you forgive me, all these things will go away. But if I didn't do anything and there's nothing to do with sin, then what is happening? Because he can't understand. And that would be where we leave chapter 7. And with this, we've come to the end of our session today.